you talked about new businesses and you talked about new ideas. Let me ask you this in the context of what we're seeing happen as far as India's startup ecosystem is concerned, which is now evolving and emerging as a new engine of growth. You also talked about regulation, and you said if the customer wants it, the regulators will have to oblige. Quick commerce, nobody thought that 10-minute delivery would be possible, and yet it is uniquely an India story that has been a success story at this point in time. We've just seen the blockbuster listing of Swiggy and what Zomato, etc. are doing. As you look at how this ecosystem is emerging, the ideas, the innovation, the valuation to wealth creation journey, what gives you confidence? What gives you hope? How do you see this playing out?
Yeah, you see, I'll start by, you mentioned regulator will have to listen. I said that. But what I meant is the regulator is already listening. If you look at the sandboxes of the last few years that our regulator has brought in, the regulator is one step ahead of all of us. So that's a huge, for me it's huge. So the challenge as we go along is, who do you look at as your model? If you are a financial sector player, if I am a financial sector player today, I would not look at another bank or another financial service company. I will look at what Swiggy is doing. See, when Swiggy started and I started using Swiggy during COVID, Swiggy, the back end was a human. And slowly the human went out. Today it's an intelligent machine. That intelligent machine tells me that, I have a change in order, your refund will be back in your account. It used to say 7 days. And the next minute it will be up. Still now it is saying it will be in your account in the next few minutes. But so that's the level of efficiency that is there without a human. So that is what everybody will have to aim for. Not only financial sector players, but other players also.
Yeah, consumer expectations have been disrupted and changed completely on account of this. But since we're talking about regulation, we're talking about the future, and what we've seen happen with cryptocurrency, for instance. I mean, a new lease of life, record highs for the Bitcoin on the back of the Trump rally that's going on. What do you believe India's position ought to be on issues like cryptocurrency, etc., as we move forward? Do you believe the time has come to recognize them as an asset class or not?
Shereen, I'm very old. So,
you're not old at all, sir. No, you're not old at all.
I am very old. So I have to have some, I still cannot as a banker get it out of my mind that, how do you value something where there is no underlying? We have a phrase, there are eminent bankers here. Where there is no underlying, how do you, value it? So I am still at a loss trying to come to grips with Bitcoin. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would stay in my corner for the time being. You
will stay in that corner, and there are many people in that corner, Mr. Kamath, including the former Reserve Bank Governor Shaktikanta Das. But the future for multilateral institutions like the BRICS Bank, for instance, for the WTO, do you believe that we're going to see a seismic shift, a seismic change in the role and relevance of these organizations?
Let me be frank. There are some institutions which I think they will have to carefully evaluate whether they have a role. Like you mentioned the WTO. You see what's happening. WTO is not able to take decisions. They can't take decisions. Their setup is not complete. There are people not appointing, not allowed to be appointed. All sorts of things are happening. So which means that it's an organization which probably was relevant at a particular point in time and may not be relevant as much.
So what should that be replaced with? I mean, do we need a rule setter?
Probably it's now going to be free markets. Everybody is driving free markets. Everybody is whatever be the role. I think it is now, it's observed in the breach rather than in this one. But let's come to the BRICS Bank. BRICS Bank, I think, or coming together of countries in the South was bound to happen. I think there was prescient on the part of the leaders of that time to say that this is what we are going to do. And to me, the biggest surprise was when New Development Bank was set up, and we had 5 members. There was 1 member with an A rating, international, India with a BBB-, still investment grade, other 3 non-investment grade. So what would a common person with some knowledge of financial markets say should be the rating of this institution? Certainly not a AAA. So what? So we ended up getting a AA+. So to me that clearly showed that in unity, when you are united, there is enormous strength. And we could borrow just about 10 bips, 15 bips higher than the World Bank, which you could very easily solve through a very lean organization and using technology significantly more and so on. So being from the South is no longer a disadvantage if you all come together. So to me, these institutions are required, particularly where the South is concerned. And which is not known. There is also the BRICS currency reserve, which is not talked of.
Which Donald Trump has already threatened to go after.
No, this is a BRICS. No, this is not the BRICS currency. This is a BRICS currency reserve, which is basically a parallel IMF, which it's not in the public domain, but it is there. It doesn't have an office, but it runs out of. It is in readiness to meet the needs of the BRICS countries if ever they have a need where they have a crisis. So these are steps that are taken where I think countries from the South are preparing themselves to maybe say that we have a role in the new order.
Mr. Kamath, I'm going to end by asking you, what has been your biggest lesson that you've learned over the course of the years, both as a professional as well as in your personal life, that you would like to share with us? What is the one thing that is your guiding compass, so to speak?
Yeah, my guiding compass is very simple, that you never know, what you ought to know. So keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. And, I was taught that right on my first appraisal in ICICI Bank by Mr. S.S. Mehta, who was our general manager at that time. And I mentioned, this synthetic iron oxide. I still remember what I wrote in the appraisal. I used a phrase called synthetic rouge. Maybe they will understand what I'm saying. So Mr. Mehta was a chemical engineer. So he actually underlined every single place where I said synthetic rouge and said, on top he said, is this word accepted in the chemical dictionary, which I had checked, and it was. So when I talked to him, he was very happy. So my learning process started there, that don't take things for granted, make sure and it continues today with all these exciting things happening. And the only thing is that you hope you will continue to learn as you go along.
Well, a lifelong learner, and speaking with you is always a learning experience. Many, many thanks, Mr. Kamath, for joining us here this evening to take us through your views and insights on what India needs to do in order for us to be able to get our place in the global order over the next 25 years. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for KV Kamath.